Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The quality of our mind determines the quality of our life. If the mind is confused, our life is confused. If the mind is determined, the life is a committed life. If the mind is frustrated, there cannot be a better performance in life. And the quality of the mind is, if it is not carrying the load of confusion and doubts, delusions and dejections. And for that, here is a very clear picture given to all of us. We have two options. Either think properly and live in a dignified manner, or think poorly and lead a dejected life. Naturally, anybody will opt for the former, for the earlier. Now, what is that quality of life where the thinking is proper? It begins from the gross and then we go to the subtle. Gross expression of life is action. And the subtle expression of life is freedom from action. The freedom from action can also be attained under laziness. Lazy people also don't act. But that is rather a bondage, not a freedom. So, if we are confused with reference to action, we must start from there. If we are confused with reference to understanding, we must start from there. So we start from Arjuna's standpoint, from the point of action. Whether to do this or not to do this. Now the problem before Arjuna was this. Whether he should fight the war or he did not fight the war. And when the thought was presented to him, he again came across another confusion. Whether I should follow the path of knowledge, wisdom, renunciation, or I should follow the path of action. And when you compare these two, it is so obvious that the path of knowledge is always superior than the path of action. So, anybody will think that why I don't go directly for the path of knowledge? Why should I engage myself into the dirty path of action and suffer? And therefore, Arjuna's question in the beginning of the 3rd chapter, if you are praising the knowledge and wisdom as superior than action, then why do you ask me to engage in action? Now, in reply to this, the teacher says, the secret about the philosophy of action. Now, the first thing the teacher told us yesterday, that first of all, you decide for what you are qualified. Many times what happens, we imagine that we are qualified for something, we go into that by the back door and suffer. One example I'll give you. This happened in IIT Bombay, Powai. There was, a group of students, IIT students, they appear all India examination and it is a tough competition. But in that also our great government wants to help those who do not deserve to be helped. So they are given admission under various criteria. Now you may get the admission and get into the college. But after that, are you qualified to understand what is taught? That you cannot know through reservation. Through reservation I understand. It cannot happen. Now the result is, such students, when they go to the college and they are sitting with the real genius students, the teacher is teaching and it is total blank for them. One such student, after my group, I spoke to the group of students, he came and asked this question. Swamiji, I am feeling very dejected and depressed. How can I come out of it? So, I asked him, how have you entered the college? First of all, tell me. I don't know why I asked him this question, but straight away I asked this question. How have you entered this college? Then he said, Swamiji, I got into the college through quota system. I said, quota is the stone. Isn't it? When that quota stone is asked to understand and learn, it can never help you. Then what I should do? I said, if you are wise enough, you discard this thing and discover which is the field which you are capable of, and then go ahead in life. So here the teacher tells Arjun, at this moment of your life, you are qualified to fight out the challenges of life and not sit for meditation. See, young people, when they are frustrated, dejected, they want to sit for meditation. But this is not the monopoly of the young people. It is also seen among the elderly people. Last 30 years, Swamiji, I have been going to various satsangs. Many Mahatmas I have heard and put them aside. But I am unable to sit for meditation even for 5 minutes. So what is the reason? The reason is there is a pressure from within and the pressure of ignorance. Ignorance about our own identity. If our identity is clear, you will never have doubt about your own actions in life. And this identity crisis is beautifully demonstrated in the first chapter of Gita. And to come out of that identity crisis is the technique given in Gita. Now, how do we come out of the identity crisis? First of all, find out what you are, where you are at a given period of time. Two things. Like, for example, here I am and here you are. Now, at this stage, in this place, at this moment, what I am? I am a teacher of Bhagavad Gita. And at this stage, what you are? Husband, wife, father, mother, rich, poor, intelligent, dull-witted, none of these things. This time you are a student. Now be very attentive. If you are not able to concentrate your mind on what I am talking, now analyze. Where is your mind going? Your mind will run away the moment you become a husband. The mind will run with the wife. The moment you become a father, the mind will run with the children. The moment you become an officer, the mind will run in the files. Think. And if you sit here only with one correct identity, that at this moment you are none other than the student of Bhagavad Gita, your mind will never run here and there. Same is the case with me as a teacher. You know what happens? I never knew this, but this time when I went to Bidar, one person told me, he said, Swamiji, when you are telling there, I was speaking in Hindi. And the topic was, for 6 days I spoke there, the topic was, Kahin Phaso Mat Baba. So, 7 days, 6 days I spoke on that. And when I was going through telling some, incidences, stories, events and all that, and bringing the point, one person came and he said, Swamiji, I want to tell you something. I said, please tell. He said, when you tell us so many stories here and there, we forget why you started. And then again you bring us back to the same point. That time it clicks. And he said, many people, they start the stories. They start some event and they go and get carried away so much. Then they ask the audience, Acha, main kya bol raha tha? Why this happens? Because your identity gets lost the moment you tell something. And therefore, Arjun on the battlefield was warrior first and warrior last. There is no second identity. And when you are on the war front, you have no choice but to act. Now, if you put lot and lot of arguments, if this is so, if that is so, one day somebody wrote me an email. Swamiji, my problem I am not able to understand. I have studied all the Upanishads, I have studied Bhagavad Gita, I have delivered very good lectures. People appreciate me, but keep this confidential. I tell you, I have no peace of mind. I am terribly agitated and disturbed. What is the reason? So I wrote him back. The problem with you is, you know everything. And what is the reply or answer to which questions? Those questions you do not know. So you have all the answers, but no question, and therefore you get frustrated. So Arjuna's condition was this. He had all the wisdom of the scriptures. If you do this, this will happen. If you do this thing happen. And therefore I don't want to act. Now the principle to be derived at. When a frustrated, dejected, failure mind starts thinking, it ends up into negativity. And when the mind becomes negative, nothing is understood in life. And therefore, it is so necessary that we give up this negative approach in our life. And if we give up the negative approach in our life, then you will see that you are the creator of your own life. Very important. And how you give up the negative approach? Act, not by thinking. Then the question comes, how do we act? So here is a technique. First of all, understand by simply sitting back, nothing is achieved in life. It is better to create problems in the world rather than remaining as a problem in the house. Very important. If you kill somebody, there is a possibility that we may evolve yet. But if you commit suicide, there is no possibility. See the difference. Therefore, we have no choice but to act in this world. First principle. Second principle was that if you begin something, have patience and commitment and put your full heart into that, you will succeed. And what is the success? Success is twofold. You will develop self-confidence. See, in this life, what we require is very important thing. The ability to say no and the ability to listen to no. Both the things. So if you are taking some undertaking in your hand and if your mind starts becoming negative, losing heart, losing confidence, that time arise awake and don't stop till you reach the goal. Second principle. Thereafter the teacher says, whether you want or not, you are alive. And if you are alive, you must live. You should not carry the load of death on your mind. What is the load of death? The load of death is when we are leading the life of laziness, excessive sleep, and committed blunders. There are people who keep on doing the same mistakes again and again. When you come out of that, then alone you will be able to achieve something. Then the teacher told us next point. If we imagine that compulsory withdrawal from the world is a great achievement in life. You are deceiving yourself. Friends, we all deceive ourselves the most than to anybody in this world. When we tell somebody something, all those who listen to us, they accept us because they have taken our words as the truth. But we know what is being said. So if we really deceive somebody in this world, it is we deceive ourselves. Therefore the teacher says, if you are withdrawing from the world under frustration and depression, but your mind will go on thinking and imagining about lots and lots of worldly enjoyments, and you are giving up the best opportunity given to you by the Lord. Contrary to this, he who has understood the principle. Now what is the principle? Principle is, we all have infinite energy and a finite time at our disposal. See? Contrary things. Infinite energy and finite time. Now the beauty of our life is, how do we utilize this infinite energy in a finite time? If we take the life of, let us take Vivekananda. Finite time at his disposal, but within that short period, how much more he can bring about? The reason was, he knew the secret of living the life scientifically. Now what is the science behind the secret of life? Please understand these two principles. We are constantly having an expenditure of the energy through us. And when you are spending energy without any control, you get totally drained away and become a weakling. And such a weakling cannot achieve anything in life. The other day, there was one person came and said, Swamiji, I do not know what happened. I feel so exhausted and I get very angry, and there is a lot of fight in the house between me and my husband. In office also, I am always having disagreement with everybody. Nobody wants me and I don't know what is happening. I am doing all my mala, I do meditation, I do all what my guru told, and yet nothing is helping. So I told us, if you want to listen without asking me a question, then see the difference. What is that? Look here. First of all, stop your spirituality 100%. Start seeing the TV, start seeing the serials, go for a walk, go for a movie, mix with the people and become a human being first. And take food 3 times a day. And gain your physical and mental strength. We must know what is our capacity to do even the spiritual practice. See how important it is. Our mind is not able to do anything for 2 minutes. And to that mind we employ for 20 hours a day. So we are doing a terrible injustice to the mind. So the two principles of action are, first, we are constantly spending the energy in the world. So first is control and conserve the expenditure of energy. And that can be done only through understanding and wisdom. Now what is understanding and wisdom? We may go on indulging in any worldly objects. None of the worldly objects can give you fulfillment in life. Eating, drinking, moving around, putting on beautiful clothes, collecting the things, many wall hangings. How many you will collect? A stage comes when all these things no more attract our mind. Therefore, If we are wise enough, we first of all stop this uncalled for expenditure of energy. So, yahaku indriyani manasa niyamya. Now, once the energy is conserved, then we employ that energy into creative activity. Then a beautiful life is created. In our Akshardham, in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, most of you must have seen, there is one very huge stone there. And when I went for the first time, before the visitors came, and what attracted me in that whole complex was that big stone. And what was the greatness of the stone? That stone is half completed sculpture. So there is one man, a half created statue, and he has up to here head, hand, and chest, and one leg is little bit made. So what he is doing, there is a chisel in one hand out of the same stone, and there is a hammer in another hand out of the same stone, and he is chiseling out the unwanted rock so that he can create a beautiful idol out of himself. See? Life is what we make of our life. Nobody makes our life bad. Nobody makes our life good. See, recently, in Ahmedabad Management Association, I had number of lectures, and these two books have come out. Just now Rupal gave me for releasing. One book is Life is What You Make It, and the second is The Perfect Balance. If you have a perfect balance in your life, then only you can really create wonders in your life and around you. So this is the secret. Conserve energy and employ the conserved energy into creativity. Therefore, when the scriptures tell self-control, it is not that the scriptures are our enemies, but it is in our own interest. When these two things are done, karmendriye karmayogam asaktasya vishishyate. After having said this, then the teacher says in the next eighth verse, niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo hi akarmanaha sharira yatra vichate na prasiddhet akarmanaha. Therefore, how do we begin after having understood the principle? Now we employ the principle in life. From the results from the laboratory are to be translated into the field. If the laboratory tells that if you do this thing, you get $1 million. But when you bring it in the field, you don't get anything. What is the use of such kind of results? So this knowledge that we have discovered has to be now employed in life. How do we start? What is that we should do in our life? First, niyatam kuru karmatvam. Perform all your duties sincerely and with all involvement. First, when you do this, what happens? You are left with no unwanted extra time to get lost into this world of indulgence. You will see those people who are extremely busy at home, they have no time to go the wrong way because they are busy. So if you really want to make your life very healthy, keep yourself busy 24 hours a day. Niyatam Guru Karmatvam. Now what is that we should keep ourselves busy in? Two types of actions. First, actions related for your survival. And second, actions which are obligatory to the world where you are living. These two things together is called as Niyata Karma. So we have to take care of our health, we have to take care of understanding, our studies, everything we have to update ourselves every now and then. And the second thing is, life should not be only self-centered, but we have obligation for all those people around us with whom we have been living. So when you keep yourself busy in these two things, you will be left with no extra time, and when you have no extra time, you will never be depressed. Think, whenever we have got extra time, we are depressed. See, if you go to the Western world, in the northern or the southern hemisphere, now this time, the snowfall has started. When you come out of the house, like I was in Canada, and it was so heavily snowing, about 6-7 feet snow. And naturally it doesn't go out so quickly. And when you look out from the window, everywhere dead snow. After you start living in that atmosphere continuously for a period of 1 week, 2 weeks, many people get the winter depression. Because 24 hours available to you, what will you do? Think. You can't go out much, nobody is available. And how much will you drink and eat? So the best way is become depressed. So the more extra time you give to yourself, you become depressed. The simple method of coming out of the depression is get into dynamic activities. Don't remain lazy. There was one person in Thane, if I remember correctly. He came and met me after my talk. He said, Swamiji, I got some problem. I said, I also have got some problem. Swamiji, you also have got? I said, yes. What is the problem? He asked me. I said, you. My problems are only you. He said, no, Swamiji, I am really having a problem. Please help me. Now, what is the problem? Problem is, last 18 to 20 years, I am married. I said, this is a problem for your wife, not for you. He said, no, please listen. And in these 20 years, I did not work. But by God's grace, children are produced. God is also funny, So by God's grace, children are produced. My wife is earning member. And she earns, and this is how our life is going on. Now I have started feeling that probably I am lazy. And I want to do something. So, please tell me, because although I am a qualified engineer, I have lost all the knowledge, no interest in doing anything. So, please tell me, how do I come out of this depression? So, I always tell this principle to everybody. If you ask me, don't ask a counter question. You do or don't do, and don't tell anything. They say, okay, what is that? I said, you start walking from Thane to Church Gate and go back. Don't stay in Church Gate. And do this for 1 month. And then tell me. And I don't know how, but he did it. After that, all the lethargy, everything went away. And he started really doing some good job. See how important it is. Therefore, Niyatam Guru Karmatva. When we keep ourselves active and busy, then alone our machinery remains fit. There is a saying in our English language where they said, if you want to get your work done in an unknown place, find out the busiest man in that place. Don't go to a person who has got lot of time. That person has lot of time because he is unfit for everything. Therefore, lot of time. And when you go to a busy person, he will find out additional time and see that your work is done. See, in our Bombay, take another example. How many textile machines were running day and night? Not 1, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 decades. They were constantly running. But then, Jindabad, Murdabad has come. And one by one the machines stop. Once those machines stop, nobody can start them. Same way, the momentum of life has to be kept. And if there is no momentum in life, then you will end up in depression and dejection. And therefore, the principle is that it is in our interest that we do all our obligatory duties and all our duty towards ourselves. In our interest. So if we are doing the social service, it is not that the society needs our service. It is we who need to serve the society. How important it is. So, niyatam guru karmatvam. If this does not come, we end up into another complex. Today I received one letter as reply. Swamiji, by your grace, I have lost interest in all the things. And now I want to do meditation. But unfortunately, meditation I am not able to do. So, please guide me. So I told him, it is not by my grace that you have lost interest in everything. It is a disgrace. See, spiritual life is not lack of interest in living. Please understand this. When you lose interest in living, you are not a spiritual. You are a dead person. Please understand this. Take interest in every small little thing with all sincerity and yet keep the freedom that you can withdraw from the world in a fraction of a moment. That is what is called as leading a real spiritual life. Many youngsters have got this problem of loveria. They fall in love. They don't rise in love. And then what happens? Suddenly, beta, these days you are looking little bit down. Your health is alright. Everything is alright. No, I am not just being inquisitive. But did somebody say something to you? Who can say anything to me? So, har sawal ka jawab hi sawal ho. But then understand that that fellow is totally frustrated. This frustration comes, friend, when we imagine spiritual life means a life for the dropouts in life. Please understand, it is not so. Spiritual life brings about the best in you. I always remember with this reference one Amma from Allahabad, if I remember correctly. I went to their house for food, of course. No other purpose I visit. So when I went, their huge structure, son, was standing there like Vivekananda. I said, Mahatma ji, come on, take food. Aap khao. They're all right. Uske liye to aaye. Then his mother felt very bad. She said, Swamiji, I am fed up of my son. He is now 28 years old. I don't know. He is good for nothing. What to do with this fellow? Swamiji, why don't you take him with you to the ashram? Suggestion. That means when you are unfit for everything, you are a fit Babaji. Please understand, life is not for those who are dropouts in life. Therefore, how to develop that stamina? Begin with this technique. Niyatam guru karmatvam karma jayohi akarmanaha. Another example I'll tell you. There were two boys to the same family, elder brother and younger brother. That elder brother was about 12 years or 10 years and the younger one was about 2 years younger or 1 year younger, like that. Almost similar like. Elder one was all the time complaining, Mommy, he did like that, Mommy, he did like that. When he go out and comes home, cry. And the younger one, he will never cry, he will settle account and come back. So, when I went there, that mother told me, Swamiji, my younger son is okay, I have no problem. But elder one is very intelligent, very sharp, study excellent. But every time he comes from outside, he is crying. I don't know what I should do. And as if like a cinema, in that very time that child comes crying. Say, Swamiji, see now, listen to the complaint, I am fed up. I said, hey, what happened? Swamiji, you know that person I was playing, he came and hit me and I fell down. I said, look here, go back. And I told him very coolly, look here, go back, take a stone and hit it on the head of that fellow and come back. He said, okay, Swamiji. With the same coolness, he went out. Because all these days he was never coming, crying and going. That day he went out, found out a stone, went to him and hit him and came back. Naturally, when this happened, he started bleeding. From that day onward, nobody touched him. And he discovered that there is another option to live in this world. Discover that you have an option to make your life. We are not born to be failures. We are born to succeed in this life. But this will not happen as an accident. Develop this faculty right from childhood. And how to do that? Keep yourself actively busy in all your undertakings. Another example I'll give about this. One Assamese lady I met somewhere, in Assam or somewhere, old lady, 95 not out. So fair, so full of life, bright eyes, and so sweet and so steady. Normally, little bit age, then every puja start, making their own sound. But she was so steady, dignified, calm and quiet. So when I met her, I said, hey Mama, you should be the Miss Universe now. You are growing younger day by day or what? Even then she was quiet. She said, no Swamiji, I am old. I am now plus 90. I said, what is the secret? He said, no, God keeps me like that. I do nothing. Then her daughter-in-law told. Daughter-in-law also old. She was about 60-65. She was looking older than this 95 lady. I said, Amma, what is the secret? He said, Swamiji, two things my mother-in-law does. First of all, she never eats any food which is 4 hours older. Morning food never eaten in the evening. Never fresh from the fridge, no. The morning food is eaten morning time, evening food is eaten evening. That is her rule. She never does anything which is old. How simple rule this is. And the reason is, this happens to come in Bhagavad Mahapuran. That food which you keep open for 6 or 8 or 10 hours, it gets putrefied and dirtied. If such old, stale, fermented food is eaten, do you think you will get a strong, healthy body? You can never get. This one rule she is following. Second rule, she does all her work by herself. She will make her bed. She will wash her clothes. After the food is over, she will wash her plate. Her cup of tea or whatever it is, clean and neat kept. You go and see in her room. When I went in her room, so spick and span. Then I asked, Amma, I think you got a good servant. No, Swamiji, I like cleanliness and I do it myself and that keeps me moving. See the beauty. It is not that you have servants or you don't have servants. You are working because it is in your own interest. The day you understand this principle, Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam Karma Jayohi Akarmanaha. It is never wise to be Akarma Nikamma. Bhagavan Sri Krishna never like a person who is lazy. This is the worst disease for any person. Do something bad rather than remaining like a stone. Karma jayohi akarmanaha sharira yatra vichate na prasiddhet akarmanaha. So if you are not leading a dynamic, wonderful, creative life, your life is worse than the dead corpse. Therefore, in the ninth verse, now Bhagavan gives a final word about the life story. What is that? Yajnathat karmanonyatra lokoyam karmavandanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara. There are 2-3 principles given. Whenever we do karma or any action, all the time with the selfishness, you get tired. And whenever you do something as an expression of your inner joy and fulfillment, you never get tired. See the difference. This happened probably in US. I went to one of the universities, and after my talk was over, that was my first experience many years before to address the students in the US. The huge hall and like a gallery, all of them sitting, and somebody is having funny kind of clothes, somebody is having a donut in the hand, somebody having a coke, somebody having a coffee, somebody's legs are on the table, and I asked. So I said, Dharma Kshetra, Guru Kshetra, yahan shuru ho gaya. And I was in that well. So normally our tradition, teacher should be above and students are below. They are exactly ulta. All the students, so I had to look up to them. And they were looking down upon me. This was the scenario. Now, when I started my talk, about an hour or so, then question answer, and everything was over. Then the principal, that person, professor of the department, I went to his room for a cup of tea. He asked me this question. He said, please tell me, do you have any magic power? I said, why? He said, I am teaching in this university for last 20 years. Not a single student has attended my class through and through. And here you can't say anything. They will come sit down for some time, skills me and walk out. And finally when there is nobody, I also go. So I am surprised you have been talking for 1.5 hours and the whole hall was not emptied. What is the magnetism that you have focused on them? Please tell me. Do you know hypnosis or what? I said, look here. I will tell you a simple thing. Whatever you are talking, are you enjoying yourself or not? If you enjoy what you are doing, all those who look at you, they will also enjoy. If we are leading our life, कैसे हो गुप्ता जी, जिंदा है. How are you, Gupta ji? Somehow alive. If this is the attitude, such persons better die. But the problem is, such persons live long. Therefore, here the teacher gives us a very, very simple thing. If you are working only with the selfishness, you will be tired. And if you do not want to get tired of life, don't live only for your own self. Expand yourself through activities. One more example I'll give. There is a friend of mine in Bangalore, if I remember correctly. They were in Bombay and I had never met that man earlier. And his wife probably was attending lectures, so one day they called me for food, I went. Then she introduced me to her husband. And the husband said, Swamiji, I am your fan, but a silent fan. I don't make a noise. I said, very good. And then he said, now I am retiring. And I want to come and join your ashram and serve for you. I said, you will not have that problem because I don't have ashram and I don't accept anybody's service. Then no, you tell me anything. I am ready to do any job, cleaning the dishes or wiping the floors. I want to serve. I said, look here, if you really want to serve, I will give you something. You do that. You have expertise in some field? Yes. Now utilize that expertise. So far you are utilizing that expertise for your selfish gains. Now utilize the same expertise not for the selfish gain. And after he retired, within a week's time probably, he got a job somewhere in Middle East and earned a lot. And thereafter when he gave that money to whatever I suggested here and there, and then he told me, Swami, now I have understood the meaning of working without the self-interest. This is what the teacher says, Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Whenever you work with the selfishness, you are nothing but tired in life. You take the lives of many great masters. They were never tired of life. Not a single master worth his name will ever say, Ab marna hi chahiye. Nahi, it can never come. Because you are no more working with the stink of ego that I have done this thing, I have achieved that thing. No. They are totally surrendered to the higher cause. And that higher cause, you can name it anyway. Call it God, call it dedication to the nation, call dedication to some principle and live for that. Then you will never be tired in life. So the tiredness comes when we work only with the selfishness, and thereafter tadartham karma kaunteya. Therefore discover some purpose in your life. This is particularly important for those who are by God's grace well-to-do in their life. They don't have to struggle for the 2 times food. If God has given them sufficiently, they are the most delicate persons to undergo the problem of depression. When you are hand to mouth, when you are all the time struggling for existence, you have no luxury of depression. But when you are everything around you comfortable, I don't know, I feel I am good for nothing. You don't feel, you are. Then what is to be done? Discover some purpose. Whatever may be the purpose. And once you discover some purpose, work for that day and night. I'll give you examples. You all must be knowing the names of Baba Amte. See, he has just found out one purpose: rehabilitation and taking care of the lepers. He has 2 sons. I visited that place. Both sons I met, daughter-in-laws I met. Both of them, all of them are doctors. And the sons also were brought up in the same atmosphere. He never told his children, do this, do that. It was demonstrated in his life. And the result is, both the sons also took up the similar kind of thing. And their house is no more a house where the struggle and the fighting for petty thing goes on. I told you to get a nice dining set, but you don't have money. But you have given money for that. That third-class type of life is nowhere in India. Let us break open the small cocoon existence of selfishness. And then discover some purpose, whatever it is. And once you are inspired and fired by some purpose in life, then you will discover your inner potentiality. Friends, all of us have got many ideas. Take only one idea. Make that as your dream and work day and night for that. Success is bound to be. No dream is an ordinary dream. There are many examples, like about one blood bank I heard. That lady, it happened in Bombay only, I don't remember the name, but I read about it in some paper. That lady lost her son for want of proper blood. Now what an average person would have done? Blame the government, blame the God, blame everybody and feel fulfilled. Our fulfillment is condemning and blaming everybody. That's all. So what that lady did, she decided, now if I have lost my son because of lack of blood, let me do something so that nobody dies for want of that. And that became a cause for her. And she became so dedicated and successful in that job. So the death of her own son was an asset and not a liability in her life, because she was able to bring out the hidden potentiality of creativity in this world. When problems are taken as challenges, the difficulties are converted into opportunities, and then alone life is really lived by us. Therefore, never go the wrong way, the depression and frustration. Therefore, tadartham karma konteya. If you take the traditional translation, yajnathat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha, work for God. Yajnat karma karomi tattadakilam shambho tavaradhana. Now, this can never inspire us all the time and all the people. It can never inspire. So find out some cause, find out some purpose, whatever it is, and dedicate yourself fully tadartham for that purpose. And when you dedicate for any cause in your life, next step, don't get entangled in that. I'll tell you one or two examples about it. You all must be knowing about Nithyananda Swami of Kadeshpuri. He was in Kanangad in Kerala, border of Kerala and Karnataka. And during his sadhana period, he was a yogi Siddha Purush. He had dug by small nails huge rocks and made caves for the seekers to do meditation. I had been there, such a beautiful place he created. And he spent years and years together to make that. After it was all done, one of the person who was a devotee or follower, whatever it is, casually one day he said, now you take care of this. I go. I walked away. Never stick on to anything in this world if you want to grow spiritually. Don't gather moss. They say rolling stones do not gather moss, and therefore you should never stick to one place throughout your life. Grow. Let us not become the bonsai. We are human beings. If you take the lives of all the great masters, they were never stagnated. They were constantly growing. Therefore, if we have to really grow in our life, two principles, Mukta Sangha, keep your freedom intact. Don't get entangled and attached to anything, whatever glorious and great it may be, because that alone will destroy you. If you see, many institutions which were started by some person, the same person becomes the cause for the destruction of the same institution. On the contrary, some great people, they start something, leave it to the world and get out of it. Those who have the freedom to give up the things with free choice, they alone can really create great things in life. This way, I really appreciate the Western people. They are something great to be learned from them. Never attach to any place, any house, any property, even to the extent of wife. One day, one person spoke to me. In Germany, this happened. He said, Swamiji, I want to get your advice. What is that? He said, you know, in our Western lifestyle, most of us have, on an average, 4 or 5 divorces in a lifetime. And in your country, you people get married only once in lifetime. So, what is your opinion? I said, my opinion is, alas, I was also Westerner. He said, no, don't tell me that. Here's something. I said, it depends on how you take life. I said, you tell me your philosophy. Then I'll tell you our philosophy. He said, our philosophy is, if we are not able to cope up with somebody, why suffer in life? Because life is not meant for suffering. So, cheerfully we separate. We could not click. That is the term they use it. Not the click. That click is different. So, we do not click, therefore we separate. And then we try another. And after a certain time, that also we don't click. And in this manner, after clicking is over, then we come to you. And then I ask him, are you clicking with me or not? Or you will leave me and go for another guru shopping? See. Then I told him, I said, look here, I'll tell you a simple thing. The attachment, ability not to cope up with somebody, etc., this is because of the quality of the mind and the values that you are entertaining. What is the problem? The problem is not outside. The problem is with your own mind. What you are doing is, you are running away from one problem and creating another problem. Because where will you run away? Wherever you go, there you are. And you are the source of all the problems. So what is the meaning of Mukta Sangha? Do whatever is to be done with all sincerity, but keep your freedom to get out of it with your own choice. In short, when you can give up something with your own choice, you never suffer. When you are compelled to give up something, you suffer. For example, suppose somebody picks your pocket and let us take only 100 rupees are stolen. So you definitely feel bad, isn't it? Because it was taken away by compulsion, in ignorance. You feel bad, oh, I lost 100 rupees. Suppose, this is just an example. You come and give me 10,000 rupees. This is just an example. Don't give. I am not suggesting. Suppose you come and give me 10,000 rupees of your own choice. That time you will feel good or bad? You will feel good. Because whenever you give up something of your own, that is the source of happiness. Whenever you are compelled to give up, you suffer. See how important. When you are kept out of the job, you will suffer. When you quit, you don't suffer in life. Remember this principle, Mukta Sangha. Keep your freedom intact. Mukta Sangha. That doesn't mean that you are irresponsible. Therefore, the second word used is Samachara. Whatever we have to do, we must perform perfectly. There is no compromise about the perfection in our performance. So these two qualities, Mukta Sangha and Samachara, Samyak Achara. You know, the beauty of life is, if we are able to discover joy in every action that we are doing, at the time of doing the action, nobody can make you miserable. Again, I repeat this principle. For example, if I am talking to you now, and if I am happy at the time of talking to you, I will never be miserable. Suppose I am talking now and expecting that after my lecture is over, you all will get up and a standing ovation and say, Swamiji, you really did a good job. And you will not do that. And I will get up with that expectation. What is the result? At the time of delivery of the talk, I was not happy. Afterwards, you will not say that I will never be happy. In short, you can be happy only when you are doing your job. The completion of the job with beauty itself is the reward of your action. Therefore, samachara. And what is that job? Any small little things that you do. When you walk, let every step be placed with confidence and joy. Not bhatak, bhatak, bhatak. Kahan ja rahe hain? Padai ghum rahe. We are not furnitures. How you dress. Enjoy the type of clothing you put on. बता नहीं हम तो वैराग्य हो गया ना, therefore I don't remember even where I have put on what. That is not spiritual life. Discover joy in every small little thing that you do. Eating, eat joyfully. What is that? And now put everything together and then I add water in that, mix it and like a buffalo, chatak patak. Bhagwan has given us the taste buds. He has given us the knowledge and He has given us a wonderful world. Do not insult the beauty that the Lord has presented to us. Samachara. Every small little thing that we do must give us extreme joy. See, if you take this principle with you in your life, you will never be bored. Many times, I don't know what to do, I'm getting so bored. Remember, whenever you get bored, you are fed up of yourself. Then what we do? I am getting bored, let us go to Guptaji's place. Now what will you do there? There, I will spread my boredom to the public. Now be attentive. Whenever you go to a particular place and people do not want you around, understand, you are a concentrated block of solid boredom. Like the odomos. It's a human odomos. When you burn that odomos, all the mosquitoes run away. In the same manner, wherever you go, people run away. What is the reason? Reason is spirituality taken the wrong way. Please understand, if you are growing spiritually, to discover magnetism in your personality and everybody wants you. This is the sign of spiritual growth. Now find out in your own houses. When we go home, Hitler has come. Now when our arrival gives this declaration by the children, Hitler has come. In one place I went, somewhere in south, and I was staying with them for 3-4 days. So my friend, his wife and 2 children. And after I was staying, suddenly it so happened that he had some urgent emergency and he has to leave. So he said, Swamiji, this is the problem. I hope you won't mind. Don't misunderstand me. But your lectures, everything organized. I have organized everything. Only thing I will not be present. So please forgive me and tolerate my children and my wife. I said, all right. He went. Afterwards, we used to play cricket and we used to play carom and lot of fun. Very big compound, very nice thing. One day when we were taking food, one of the child, 2 sons. So the younger son made a comment and that revealed the total quality of that house. One statement. He said to his mother, when we were all sitting together, the servants are there to prepare food and give very comfortable life. That boy said, Mama, is it not possible that daddy goes on tour for 25 years? Now what it indicates? So that daddy was an Odomos. And his observation was, Swamiji, my house is very disciplined. When I come home, everybody is calm and quiet. They are on their tables. They are studying. How do you like it? So I asked him, I said, if I have to be a father, my description of a father is, when I come home, everybody leaves whatever they are doing and they run to the front gate and hug me, Dad, I want to tell you this, I want to tell you that. When your children are wanting to share with you every small little thing, then only you have crossed the barrier of the generation gap. And this can happen only when Mukta Sanghas Samachara. And friends, if we understand this secret of life, you will see there is nothing in this world which can ever disturb you, which can ever trouble you. Therefore, Niyatam Guru Karmatvam Karmajjayo hi Akarmanaha Sharira Yatra Vichate na Prasiddhet Akarmanaha Yajñātāt Karmanunyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandhanaha Tatatham Karma Kaunteya Mukta Sanghas Samachara. Discover joy in some purpose of life and work for it and thus grow within. This is the message. After having said this, now the teacher gives examples. This is the Bhagavad Gita is a book of an art of oratory. Everybody cannot communicate the thoughts perfectly well. Many times I see, you see. What we want to say, that is never said. Because communication is not possible for everybody. Another peculiar thing about oratory, I'll tell you. When we lack words, we use hands. Because the speech is the organ of action. And hands are also organ of action. So, when we have to present our thoughts, following things are required. First, you make a principle, you present the doctrine. Second thing, give all the details. Third thing, give some examples and contrasting examples. Like here, Bhagavan has given in the sixth verse, he who has got lot of desires inside, but outside he is showing to be a withdrawn person, he is a cheat to himself. And second thing, contrary, he who has controlled himself, works dynamically, achieves success in life, he is great. See the two contrasts, immediately the point is made. The third thing about the communication of thoughts is, we have to give some authority which will click to the listener. Otherwise, the listener will imagine that this fellow is talking out of his hat. So it's not only I am saying this, but great people also said the same thing. So, in the language of science, this is called as the review of literature. Some references are quoted to tell that what I am telling you is also supported by the earlier workers. And that is what we call in our scientific language as review of literature or quoting the references. Here it is called as Pramana Vichar. So who said this? Now the teacher says in the 10th, 11th, these two verses, Sahayajna praja srishtva purovaja prajapatihi anena prasavishtadvam eshavosprishta kamadu devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantuha parasparam bhavayantaha shreya paramavapsat. Here the teacher says, when God created this world, that time the Lord said, my dear children, take this as a parting gift and make the best use of your life. See how dramatic it is. When God created this world, to His creation, the Lord said, my dear children, you are going, take this parting gift and make the best use of your life. Kama Duk means that cow will be the fulfiller of all your desires. So the Lord has given to every one of us a technique by which we can fulfill all our desires. Fulfillment of desire is not banned in our scriptures. Please don't have the wrong notion that I have to be totally desireless. Stones are desireless. Trees are desireless. Animals are desireless. I also want to be desireless. That is not what is meant by the scriptures. See, it is something like this. If I say, I have total detachment and no desire to be the Prime Minister of India. If I say like this, first of all, who is going to make me? So, my lack of desire not to become the Prime Minister of India has only one way of expression, Majburi ka naam Mahatma Gandhi. See, who is going to make me? Nobody. And if I don't want that, who gives you? You don't want it. You know what is called as a dispassion? Under three conditions. First, you have the availability of the objects for indulgence. Second, you have the capacity to indulge. Third, you have freedom to indulge. And yet, you don't become victimized. That is called as real dispassion. Therefore, as long as you want to achieve success in life, there is nothing wrong. Everybody need not become Babaji. Rather, should not become Babaji. In Hyderabad, once I went with our Swamiji, he suddenly took ill. And there was a big announcement that Swamiji will be addressing the youth. And because he took ill, so Swamiji told me, you go and talk. Bluff whatever you want. So I went. A huge crowd, all the youth of Hyderabad came together. And after my talk was over, then question answer. So one man, he said, I want to ask you a question. Although it was a youth meet. So I said, you please come and ask your question from the dais on a podium and with the mic. So everybody understand what is the question. So he came and, do you mean that everybody should become a Babaji like you? This is what I concluded from your talk. Then I asked the audience, have you heard the question, please? Yes, Swami. Very good. I said, please go and sit down. I will reply your question. First of all, if I have said that, I withdraw that statement. Second thing, I never said that. And third thing, you should not do that. Because if all of you will become Babaji, you will compete me in the market. I will never want that. Suffer in this world. Because unless you suffer, I cannot enjoy. Think. Unless there are bad teeth, dentists are never happy. Whenever the dentists see beautiful white teeth, they feel bad. Oh, gaya chance. See? Similarly, Babajis are happy when miserable people are around. Chalo, pakda, bakra, lagao. So here Bhagavan says, if your desire is to fulfill, don't go here and there. Work hard. And what is the technique? Two things. First of all, you have to have confidence in yourself. If you lack confidence, nobody can help you in your own life. Second thing, confidence must be supported by the ability. If you have tremendous confidence but no ability, confidence without ability leads to calamity. How it happens? The other day it happened somewhere. Husband, wife as usual fighting, and something was to be lifted. Very heavy. And in that anger, the husband got something angry, and he said, okay, I am always wrong. And in that anger, he went and lifted a huge heavy thing for what he was not capable. He was inspired by the wife, or rather propelled by the wife. But he was not capable. As a result, he got a very terrible pull in the back and then 1 month on the bed. So two things are required for success in life: have self-confidence and develop ability. So this I am giving to you as a parting gift. So if you have to have the self-confidence and the parting gift, what is that and how do we do this? This is the next topic. That how do we develop self-confidence and the ability so that we lead the life to succeed and not merely live because we are not capable of dying. Not that way. What it is, how it is, we'll see in our next class. We conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.